Ba-da-bum, 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 bum, ba. Ba-da-bum, 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 bum, ba. Ba, 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 ba.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, week 12 of the NFL, kicking off with three Thanksgiving games. By the way, that was my rendition of the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving theme music. Really underrated Charlie Brown special. I mean, you got the the Halloween and the Christmas one are obviously much more popular for whatever reason, and the Thanksgiving one kind of is a distant third, kind of under the radar. Doesn't get a lot of the attention, but it's a solid holiday episode. You get Charlie Brown running around, strong rookie performances from Peppermint Patty, Woodstock, Franklin. Just and Snoopy, I think, gives his best performance in that one, so he's really on point. You got the wacky Thanksgiving dinner, and the kids just running around again with no parental supervision on a major holiday. So, but let's get to some real Thanksgiving action. So we got the and really Thanksgiving week. I mean, what a great week of football. Really, Thanksgiving week actually started Monday night with the Chiefs and the Rams. And listen, that was the greatest regular season game of all time. All right, and not just because of all the points that were scored, but because you had the game hyped up. You had the two best teams, or at least the two best records from either conference, going at each other, and that's really what they did. These teams slugged it out. All right, and I don't want to hear about, well, this is the new NFL. No, it's not the new NFL. All right, this is the first time in the history of the NFL that both teams scored 50 points. All right, it never happened before. All right, they go all the way back to whenever. I mean, like, it never happened before. So it's not the new NFL. So just stop it. All right, it was a special game, two high-powered offenses, loads of talent at every skill position, and they went after each other, and that's what it was. I mean, listen, defense scored 21 points in that game. All right. And set up a couple other scores. So this idea there was no defense, or it's going to be a video game. No, that's not what that game was. I mean, if anything, last year's Super Bowl is more of an argument about high scoring. I mean, there was no defense in last year's Super Bowl other than the end of the game where they finally made Brady fumble. I mean, I think there was 1-2 punts in that whole Super Bowl. The team just went up and down the field. That's not what this game was Monday night. So just relax, all right? Just enjoy it, okay? It was a fun game, and we'll see if these two teams get to the Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But you got some big games here Thursday. You got Chicago with Detroit. Trubisky, he might not play. I mean, if he does play, the Bears will win. If he doesn't play, they'll probably still win, but you never know when Detroit decides to show up on these Thanksgiving games. But Bears defense is ridiculous, so I'm gonna take the Bears. And then you got the Cowboys hosting the Redskins, and before everybody gets too excited about the Redskins having to play their backup quarterback, I wouldn't get too fired up just yet, just because it's Colt McCoy back there. The Redskins have kind of been doing it with smoke and mirrors this year anyway, even with Alex Smith. So now that Colt McCoy's in there, it's not automatic that the Redskins are going to collapse. Now again, the Cowboys are going to win this game, but I don't know that the Redskins drop off, as much, just because Alex Smith is out now and you got McCoy in there. Now listen, if McCoy gets hurt and you got the Sanchez in there, well, then the season's over. But the Cowboys will win this game. And man, what a quick turnaround. You're going in the Philly game, everyone, Garrett's getting fired. the whole team's garbage, and now, week and a half later, they could be tied for first. And if they win the game, they actually would have the tiebreaker on the Redskins because they'd have a better record against common opponents. So this is a big game. Cowboys will get it. And then Thursday night, you get the nice triple header now on Thanksgiving, which they've been doing for about 10 years now, I think. But Thursday night, you get Atlanta and New Orleans. Atlanta season's over. Saints steamrolling everybody, go to Super Bowl. Saints are going to win the game, of course. But listen, before everybody starts booking their reservations for Saints versus Rams NFC Championship game, let's see what happens. All right, because especially with the Chiefs Rams game, like, don't be surprised if that game takes something out of one of those two teams, and one of those teams stumbles down the stretch just because of how ridiculous that game was. They might have emptied the tank there. I mean, again, not that they're gonna not be prolific offenses, but let's see how that kind of game affects them the rest of the season. And again, they get the bye, so that might taper. What's the word I'm looking for here? Temper it a little bit, but I'm not booking Rams Saints in the NFC Championship game just yet, because again, defense can still win championships. And you look at, it's interesting. You get the Bears playing on Thursday. You get the Cowboys playing on Thursday. The Bears and Cowboys probably have two of the better defenses in the league. The Bears got a ridiculous pass rush. They got a lot of great players on defense. But you look at Cowboys defense. They have been consistent every year. I mean, Cowboys have not gotten blown out in any game this year. I know they look bad against Tennessee, but even that game, they only gave up 28 points. And that game, the offense did nothing, and then basically the defense was, they had to lean on defense the entire game. But you kind of see the lineup because the Bears are going to win their division. Cowboys should probably win the NFC East now, and then it's just a question of, can the Bears and or the Cowboys, survive their wild card round, and then can one of them go into LA or New Orleans and put up a monster defensive effort to slow these offenses down and steal a win. I mean, that's really what I think we're going to be looking at in the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. But listen, the Saints are amazing. They're the best team in the NFC. But I'm not booking Saints Rams just yet. So let's move to Sunday. Early games. You get Jacksonville at Buffalo. I mean, what do you want me to tell you about this game? Who cares? This looks like a win for Jacksonville on paper, but again, this season is over. This disgusting loss against Pittsburgh last week, when they had actually had Pittsburgh's number, as of late. So I don't know where their head's at in this game. Buffalo's coming off a bye. I'm gonna take Buffalo in an upset here. Because I just don't think that Jacksonville's head's not in the game anymore. They need to start looking at 2019 because this season's over. Cleveland, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's one of 4 teams. It's tied at 5-5 for the last AFC wild card, or whatever team is gonna have a chance to maybe go into Houston and get an upset the first weekend, the first Saturday wild card weekend. The Browns have been playing well. They're coming off their bye. I mean, I don't know if AJ Green's playing this game. I can't pick Cleveland on the road just yet. I'm not there yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't win this game, but I'll take the Bengals. But again, I mean, if the Bengals don't win this game, I mean, they're out of it. So, New England at the Jets. New England's gonna win the game, but Jets seem to play New England tough when they're at home. For the most part, there might have been a game or two in the last few years where they get blown out, but New England coming out of a bye, coming off a bad loss, and then coming out of a bye. I mean, they're not going to lose this game. But the Jets might make it interesting for a little bit. I think McNown's going to start. But again, the Jets not doing anything this year, so New England will win the game. And by the way, again, with everyone talking about NFL is all offense now. Listen, when the Jets and the Bills play each other and they're scoring 50 points a game, then you might have a point, okay? But listen, the Jets are not a team that's going to put up 50. Some of these other teams. So just again, going back to Chiefs Rams, everybody relax. It's a special game. Just enjoy it. Get back to Sunday early games. Giants at Philly. I mean, watch out for the Giants the second half. This seems to be this team's MO the last few years. Like they get off to a terrible start, they're completely out of it, but then they get feisty the second half, and they're probably looking at this division going, oh, wait, we might still be in it if we run the table, which I guess mathematically is true, but Philly coming off a disgusting loss, and again I've been saying this all along. If Stephon Diggs doesn't make that play in the playoffs last year, New Orleans goes to Philly and beats them. And you got a little bit of a taste of that last week. Now, I'm not saying New Orleans would have beat Philly 48-7 in the NFC Championship game this year, but New Orleans is the better team. They would have gone to Super Bowl last year if they didn't get upset. But listen, Philly had their year, and then the year is over now. It's 2018 now, and they come back to earth. And by the way, I mean Philadelphia, they're playing with a second-year quarterback and no consistent running game. So is it any surprise they're 4-6? I mean, forget that they won the Super Bowl last year. They're playing with no consistent running game and a second-year quarterback coming off an ACL injury. So, I mean, why is it shocking that they're 4-6? I'm not surprised. It is a garbage game. I'll take Philly to win because I can't have the Giants having life and thinking they can still win the division. San Francisco at Tampa Bay. Man, we got a lot of garbage Sunday afternoon. Jeez. Who cares? San Fran at Tampa? I think they're going to alternate. Tampa's going to alternate Winston and Fitzmagic every other play because at this point they just keep getting benched for each other. I mean, it's sad. I mean, get yourself a quarterback. I mean, they got to do something with that. And I had to trade Mike Evans in 2 of my leagues. And I can't deal with the inconsistency at QB right now. I mean, I know he had a big game last week, but he had two duds before that, and I just don't want to put up with it anymore. So, so I got rid of him. But don't bother watching this game. I'll take San Francisco to win this game. Who cares? Seattle, Carolina. This is a good game. This is really the only game, the early game on Sunday, worth watching. You got two teams battling for the wild card in the NFC because neither one of them's catching the Rams or the Saints. So, Carolina's kind of slipped off a bit. It looked for a while that they were kind of a lock for that top NFC wild card, but I don't know what's going on with them lately. And I didn't watch a lot of game last week because supposedly Ron Rivera went for 2 with a minute left still. Detroit had all the timeouts, and everybody's screaming about that. Listen, who cares? The guy's trying to win a game. Who cares? You go, where'd you go? You got to listen. Extra points are not automatic anymore. Just you can't. When extra points were automatic, you could make the argument, but they move it back. I mean, it's a 35-yard field goal now. I mean, it's 33 or 34, whatever it is. It's not automatic anymore. It's not. So, if your kicker's having a problem or you're feeling feisty, you go for the win. Go for 2. I mean, just do it. Well, it doesn't work, so now it's a stupid call. But if it works, the guy's a genius. So, whatever. I like the Pepsi commercial he's in, but who cares? I'm going to take... I'm starting Russell Wilson, one of my leads this week, so I'll take Seattle. But I'm not confident at all in that pick. Still got one more afternoon game, and it's kind of garbagey. You got Oakland and Baltimore. I think the Raiders won last week, right? The Raiders actually beat Arizona. Yeah. So Raiders are 2-8. They're still the worst team in football. I mean, they're not. I bet you they make this game interesting because I don't know what's going on with Baltimore, but if Lamar Jackson does what he did last week, this should be an easy win. And Baltimore needs the game. They're right in the middle of that logjam. What do you got? You got Baltimore, Miami, Cincinnati. On the Colts are all 5-5, and even Denver. I wouldn't go to sleep on Denver just yet because they're 4-6. They could sneak in there. But Baltimore beat Oakland on Sunday. Okay, late afternoon games. Sunday, you get Arizona at the Chargers. The Chargers, what a stupid loss. I mean, just listen. Phil Rivers is a great quarterback, but he's really been the AFC's version of Tony Romo, his career. I know he's won a couple more playoff games than Romo did. Chargers have been in the AFC Championship game, well, only once I think, but it's still one more than Romo. But I mean, some of the losses the Chargers have had over the years. I mean, they first of all they can't find a kicker. I don't know why it's that hard to find a kicker. I mean, there's got to be more than 32 guys in the world that can consistently kick field goals. Like this guy with the Chargers, like I don't care who they got, like they miss big kicks constantly, and it's just I don't understand. That seems like an easy fix. I don't, and again, cost them again on Sunday, but the really dumb play was Rivers, throwing an incomplete pass, and it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, listen, just I know sometimes you gotta be aggressive, and you throw the ball to try to get the first time win the game, but you know what? Sometimes just play the game like you would play Madden. Okay, in Madden, you run the ball, you run the clock down, you call timeout 1 second left. And then you run the ball again, and you just try to extinguish as much time as you can. I don't understand why these guys try to get cute and do stupid things. And I don't even know what Rivers was trying to do on that play. He just dumped the ball off. I mean, I was happy. I had Philip Lindsay, so I was like, all right, great, one more drive for Philip Lindsay. So, and I had Cortland Sutton too. So that was so I was happy about it. But it's just like I don't know what's going on with the Chargers. Now they're going to beat Arizona, of course, because Arizona is disgusting. But I mean. Don't be surprised if this turns into a weird game because Arizona, they gave the Chiefs a decent game a couple of weeks ago, and the Raider game was close. So I mean, at least they're trying. But I mean, Chargers will win the game, but I lost a lot of confidence in them with that loss last week. I didn't like what I saw. Pittsburgh at Denver. This is an interesting game down here because Denver needs a game. If Denver wins a game, they're right there in the wild card hunt. They can get back in it. The Steelers. I don't know what happened to them last week, but Jacksonville had their number last few games, so I wasn't surprised that they struggled. But listen, they made a great comeback. Roethlisberger, made a couple of great plays there. Great touchdown there at the end. I don't know. I'm gonna take. I don't know. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh here. Maybe I'm gonna take. Pittsburgh will win his game, I think, but Denver's gonna make it a ball game. So, but I just, I don't know, I'm not confident in that pick. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won that game, if Denver got an upset. But I'll take the Steelers. And then you get Miami and Indianapolis. This is kind of like a pseudo playoff game right here because they're both 5-5. The Colts. I thought the Colts were done, but I guess they're on a little bit of a win streak here, and so I'm shocked to see that they're 5-5. And I'll be honest, I don't know that I've watched combined more than 10 minutes of any Miami or Indianapolis game this year. I just don't have anybody in fantasy. They haven't been playing teams that I've been paying attention to in fantasy, so I couldn't tell you a lot about these teams, to be honest with you. But I'll take Miami here. Because I don't trust the Colts. I don't trust the Dolphins either. But Dolphins at least, I don't know. I don't know why I'm picking the Dolphins. I'll be honest with you. I think Tannehill's coming back, so maybe that's what I'm thinking about. But I don't know. I don't trust the Colts here. Even though they just blew out the Titans, and that's probably why they blew out the Titans. Now they're going to come back here and lay an egg. So I'll take the Miami. But who cares? All right, then you got Sunday night, Green Bay, Minnesota. I don't know what's going on with either one of these teams. These teams are desperate right now, especially the Packers. When the Packers lose this game, they're basically done, right? What are the Packers? Packers are 4-5-1. Yeah, they lose this game. They're basically out. I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the way, but they're not coming back from 4-6-1. Especially to be 2 games behind the Vikings. They're not going to catch the Bears. The Packers are in a lot of trouble. I don't know what's going on over there. And again, last week in the Seattle game, again, you're watching these coaches. I don't know why this clock management stuff is so hard, but, you got to go for it on 4th and 2 there when you have no timeouts left. Seattle didn't even try to run the ball really, and they got 2 first downs and won the game because they were able to kill 4 minutes when the other team has no timeouts. Like I don't know, like, and supposedly this is an ongoing thing with Mike McCarthy. Like he's like he's like an Andy Reid Jr. when it comes to screwing up clock management. Although somehow he always seems to get it right when he's playing the Cowboys. When he plays the Cowboys, he always makes the right challenge. Always has the right timeout situation. I think that's why I get caught off guard with that because like when I watch the Cowboys play the Packers, Mike McCarthy is amazing at clock management, but every other game seems to screw it up. So I don't like how Minnesota's playing though here. I don't know. This is it. I'm gonna take the Packers one more time because I can't imagine that they're just gonna drop out of the race here. Rodgers has been good, but something's off this year. I mean, maybe the injuries bother him, whatever it is. But I don't know. I feel like Green Bay should have won a couple of these games. I mean, listen, they played at New England, they played at the Rams, they played at Seattle. I mean, those are 3 tough games. So I mean. I guess it's not that surprising to win. I mean, they were in all 3 of those games too, so it's not. I mean, they could have easily won all 3 of those games, but they didn't. So I'm gonna take Green Bay here because I don't know, something's not right with Minnesota either. I don't like how they're playing. And then you get Monday night. You get Tennessee at Houston. Just when you thought Tennessee was putting together, and I pick up their defense in one of my leagues, and they give me a 0. I mean Mariota got hurt. I mean that was part of it. Although I think they were getting blown out before Mariota got hurt. They went down 21-3 or something. But Houston, Houston's won 7 in a row, right? I mean, 7-3 to Texans, right? Yeah, I mean, they're on kind of a roll right here. I'm gonna take Houston, but. Tennessee seems like they're going to be, every other week now. They look bad one week, they look good another week. They don't have enough to beat Houston. I mean, if Mariota's not playing, I mean, they're not going to beat him. But I don't know what that situation is. I'm going to take Houston to win a game, and then you get the Chiefs and the Rams off this week, and then that's it. Then everybody's got their buys, and then we start heading for the stretch run. So, all right, so there you go. So we'll be. Yelling and screaming on Thursday, interrupting Thanksgiving dinner as the Cowboys have done every Thursday that I've been alive. So this year will be no different, and then you all enjoy your own Thanksgiving, and we'll see you then. All right, turkey time.